Good morning. I'm Elizabeth Parmley, Regional Director of New York State Department of Transportation here in Central New York. It is my honor to welcome you to the Highway Workers Memorial here at the New York State Fairgrounds, a sacred space to gather and remember the lives cut short by work zone crashes. Before we begin, please join me in a brief moment of silence as we pause to remember the dedicated highway workers who have died in the line of duty. A special thank you this morning to the families and loved ones of the fallen who are with us today. Allie Bornt, the daughter of Robert Bornt, and Julie, Robert's sister, and members of the Hoosick Falls Fire Department. Kaylee Giamarva and her husband Jordan, the daughter and son-in-law of Vinnie Giamarva. Alicia Howe, the widow of Matt Howe. Mike and Christine Bartle, the son and daughter-in-law of Gordon Bartle. And the family of Eugene Wall, his father Henry Wall. Your grief is unimaginable, but your strength is inspiring. We thank you for being here to honor their memory and help spread this message of safety. To our elected officials and state and local labor partners in attendance today who share the same goal as we do, to stop work zone intrusions and unnecessary tragedies caused by them. Thank you for supporting our highway workers and helping to advance our efforts to protect them. So Dan Petrick from Assemblyman William Magnarelli's office, Jessica DeSurse from the Deputy Director of State Operations, Lisa Sacco, CNY Regional Rep for Department of Labor, Commissioner Roberta Reardon, and all of our labor partners. Safe actions save lives. That was the message last week as part of National Work Zone Awareness Week, a chance to remind the traveling public how vital it is that we put their phones down, keep our eyes on the road, slow down, and move over in work zones. The gravity of that message and the lives lost at the hands of drivers who didn't listen must never be forgotten. It is now my honor to introduce New York State Department of Transportation Commissioner Marie-Therese Dominguez.
Thank you, Betsy. For those that don't know, Betsy Parmley is our regional director here in Central New York in the Syracuse area. Thank you and your team, Betsy, for everything. But I want to wish a good morning, a reflective morning to everyone here. I want to thank our partners across government, in the organized labor, everyone, for being here today. Our partners at the New York State Thruway Authority, the state police, the park police, and in particular, I want to thank Executive Director of the New York State Thruway, Frank Hoare. He's been a tireless champion along with New York State DOT and our many partners in advocating for work zone safety, and I really appreciate all of his efforts and that of the Thruway. I also want to thank State Police Captain Steve Fountain. Thank you very, very much for being here. The state police are integral partners in everything that we do on safety. But today is a very solemn occasion. Last week was Work Zone Safety Awareness Week, a national event that takes place. But sadly, what we have to do is raise awareness every single day about work zone safety. And today we're doing that by remembering the lives of those that have been lost on our roadways. And we're doing it in a sacred place of reflection, here on the New York State Fairgrounds, in front of and in an area that fundamentally honors highway workers whose lives have been tragically lost while on the job. To date, we lost at New York State DOT 59 employees. an indescribable loss. I know the loved ones of Robert Bornt, Matt Howe, and Gordon Bartle are here with us today, and I really appreciate that you've joined us. Allie, Alicia, Mike, Christina, please know that everyone standing with us is thinking of you and praying for you, and we're beside you every day. We lost Gordon Battle in 1983, Matt Howe in 2019, and just last year, we lost Robert Bornt. For the families, friends, and coworkers of these dedicated public servants, the tragedy of losing their loved ones, it still feels like it just happened yesterday. I wish there were more expressive words to convey the sorrow we have for your tremendous loss. On June 10th, 1983, Gordon Bartle was working along State Route 41 when the paving roller he was operating overturned. Gordon was a hard worker. That's how his friends and family described him. He was always there for his community and his family, helping with his father's maple syrup business and serving as a proud member of the Preston Fire Department. We lost Matt Howe on March the 18th in 2019. I'll never forget the impact it had on our entire workforce. Unfortunately, Matt succumbed to his injuries sustained after a driver sideswiped his truck in a work zone. Matt was the kind of person you felt lucky to know. Always quick with a smile, devoted to his family, and a friend to so many of his coworkers. And sadly, in May of this year, we'll celebrate the anniversary of the loss of Robert Bornt, who was killed in a work zone intrusion. Robert was a 22-year veteran of New York State DOT, beloved by his coworkers, a devoted father, a true pillar of the Hoosick Falls community. I know members of his fire department from Hoosick Falls are here today, and I really thank everybody, especially his family, for being here. Robert was the fire chief. He was somebody that the entire community looked up to. And as fire chief, he guided his department through critical situations where literally every single second counts, where keeping people safe is the only mission that matters. He carried that same sense of duty with him to his work as he undertook his duties on our roadways across the state, always keeping the safety of his crew front and center. Gordon, Matt, Robert, they all left us way too early, but we will never forget them. We're here today at the State Highway Workers Memorial, which was designed and built by the New York State Department of Transportation, our own team members, in honor of their fallen comrades. Dozens of our maintenance forces who every day face the dangers of highway work themselves, helped construct this incredible memorial. Every second matters, and a split-second choice by a driver can endanger the lives of an entire crew of highway maintenance and bridge workers. The professionals that we remember today were good people, good people. They set out to work with a simple mission every day to ensure that the rest of us can travel safely. What should have been a normal day for every one of them, and for every one of the 56 other state DOT employees who lost their lives on the job, ended, unfortunately, with life-altering circumstances. That's why, backed by the strong support of Governor Kathy Hochul, DOT and our partners across the board are working to do everything we possibly can to prevent these senseless tragedies from occurring ever again. Building off of legislation that she passed a few years ago, Governor Hochul has put forth legislation to expand the automated work zone speed enforcement program to locations beyond controlled access highways through a provision in this year's executive budget. Passing this legislation is critical to our workers. We know that when speed is enforced, speed goes down in the work zone. The data's in, and we know that it works. Passing this legislation is critical for our entire workforce. And it needs to be expanded to happen on other additional roadways. And that's the opportunity we have in this legislative session. The governor's also put forth legislation strengthening the penalties against those who assault or harass highway workers in state work zones. Similar to laws already in place for workers at downstate transit agencies, this level of protection will literally be a game changer if we're able to actually increase the penalties and strengthen them for these dedicated public servants. These laws will have an immediate impact on the safety of all of our workers, and we continue to urge our partners in the state legislature to include them as we move forward in this budget session. Why? Because highway workers are the lifeblood of literally everything we do in the state of New York. The transportation system is a nervous system. It's the economic system that drives our economy forward. And the women and men who work on it, they repair potholes. They clear roads during winter storms. Nobody else can do the work that they do. They're irreplaceable. They make emergency repairs in high-speed interstates. It's a difficult condition to work in, and they take that on every day as part of their public service. They're doing it for the public. It's a hard day's work. They deserve to come home to their families each night. Today, we honor those we lost. They will never be forgotten. Tomorrow and every day forward, let's, each of us, recommit ourselves to protecting the lives of our highway maintenance workers. How? By putting down your phones, paying attention to driving, moving over, and not speeding in a work zone. There's more that each of us can do on a daily basis to share this message. And in doing so, never forget the ultimate sacrifice that these brave public servants have given all of us. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Dominguez. Our next speaker is Frank Hoare, Executive Director of the New York State Thruway Authority.
Thank you very much. Thank you for being here today as we come together to honor the men and women who lost their lives working to keep New York's highways safe. Thank you to my colleagues at DOT, Commissioner. Thank you to our state police, True T, for all that they do, and your partnership in keeping our workers safe. Thank you for that. And of course, to our friends in labor who are always with us and working in partnership to make the work zones as safe as possible. Today is a solemn reminder of the risks highway workers across our state face every single day. We know there is no such thing as an ordinary day on the road for our workers. Most people will never see the dangers our crews confront every shift. As I look at the line of memorials surrounding us, I'm reminded of lives taken far too soon. Behind every hard hat and safety vest is a person who mattered deeply to their families, friends, coworkers, and communities. To the families of the fallen joining us today, we extend our deepest sympathy while our hearts ache with yours. Please know that your loved ones' sacrifices will never be forgotten. Our thoughts are also with Robert and his family and his friends and coworkers, his fellow firefighters, who continue to carry his memory forward while serving others. We honor Robert and all fallen highway workers, not just for how they died, but for how they lived with dedication and professionalism and a deep commitment to public service. In the 71-plus year history of the New York State Thruway, 22 of our colleagues have lost their lives while on the job. 2 years ago, in 2024, we lost 2 Vinnie Giamarva, and Steve Ebling. Vinnie Giamarva's anniversary is coming up shortly. We are honored to be joined today by his daughter Kaylee and Jordan. Thank you for being here. We know there's nothing that we can give you that would replace your dad and your family members. We know that's what you want. We hope that these memorials here and the memorial we unveiled last fall at the Thruway Authority to honor Vinnie and Steve and the other 20 who lost their lives are some source of comfort to you and reassurance that we will never forget. We will honor their memory by recommitting ourselves to safer practices and by protecting one another on every shift. Let us today strengthen our commitment and rededicate ourselves to keeping road workers safe through safer driving, awareness, and accountability. This is the charge that Governor Hochul has given to us, and there's no greater duty or responsibility for your leadership than safety. The greatest tribute we can offer is doing everything possible to ensure every highway worker makes it home safely at the end of the day. Our message to the public must be, help us to help you get home at the end of your shift. Thank you for joining us. Again, thank you to families for being here. What you do by coming here and remembering is very important. It gets the word out to the public. It gets the word out to what the real sacrifices are when you don't slow down and pay attention. It's not simply that there's a delay and you don't get to where you want to get as quick, but there are real world sacrifices, lives that are changed forever when you make those horrible, horrible decisions and you do not display a lack of judgment. So thank you to families for being here today. Thank you for helping us to get that message out. Be assured that every single day we will work to get that message out. And most importantly, thank you to the men and women who are here in your hard hats and vests. Thank you for what you do. And I pledge that we work every single day to make those work zones and any area on the Thruway and all our public roads as safe as possible. Thank you for all you do. God bless and be safe.
Thank you, Director. Our next speaker is Captain Stephen Foundation, Troop T, New York State Police.
Thank you, Director Parmley. Good morning. We are here today to honor the men and women who gave their lives working on New York State's highways. Those who left home to do an honest day's work and never returned. These individuals were more than workers in hard hats and reflective vests. They were real people living real lives. They were the quiet guardians of our roads, the ones who rose before dawn, braved harsh weather conditions, and stood just feet away from speeding traffic so the rest of us could get to where we're going to safely. Their work is too often underappreciated. Yet every repaired pothole, bridge, every cleared lane, every carefully placed cone or barrier is a testament to their dedication. They did not seek recognition. They simply did their jobs with courage and commitment. But today, we pause to recognize the cost of that service. 81 highway workers have lost their lives in New York State. That is 59 New York State Department of Transportation workers and 22 New York State Thruway workers. Sadly, the most recent was the death of DOT Maintenance Supervisor Robert Bornt, who was struck by a vehicle on May 29, 2025 in the town of Pittstown and succumbed to his injuries the following day at the Albany Medical Center. Every life lost is more than just a name on a wall. It's a story that didn't get to finish. It's a family left with an empty seat at the table. It's a loss that never goes away with time. To the traveling public, honoring them isn't just about today. It's about what we do tomorrow and every day thereafter. It's about slowing down when we see a work zone. It's about putting away the phone and paying attention and moving over for any stopped motor vehicle, to include highway workers, construction and maintenance vehicles, and emergency vehicles. It means understanding that behind every warning sign is a human being, and violence and disrespect towards these highway workers will not be tolerated. To the New York State Department of Transportation and New York State Thruway Authority, although our roles may seem different, our mission is the same: to protect lives. Our partnership is built on trust. With that said, trust that the New York State Police will continue to work hard every single day to ensure the safety of the state's roadways and the safety of your employees. Just last week, during National Work Zone Awareness Week, the New York State Police issued 1,516 work zone violation tickets statewide. We will continue our steadfast efforts with work zone enforcement details to include Operation Hard Hat and Operation Work Break initiatives, where we target speeding, aggressive driving, and move over violations in work zones. To the families of the fallen, we cannot fully ease your grief, but we stand beside you in honoring their sacrifice. Their work mattered, and their lives mattered, and they will never be forgotten. Lastly, I would like to thank the New York State DOT Commissioner, Marie-Therese Dominguez, Executive Director of the New York State Thruway, Frank Orr, Regional New York State DOT Director, Betsy Parmley, and all of the highway workers for all of your efforts at providing a safe and reliable transportation system. Thank you.
Thank you, Captain. Thank you to all of our speakers this morning as we honor the lives of highway workers who paid the highest price while serving the traveling public, and recognize the bravery of the families and friends who have made it their mission to carry on their loved ones' names and keep their memories alive. It should be all of our mission as individuals, as agencies, and as a community to get our workers home safely every single night, so no other family must endure what they have. Safety is a responsibility we all shoulder. Let today be a sobering reminder of the impact your decisions can have. At this time, we are concluding our remarks and will continue with a wreath-laying ceremony led by Allie Bornt, assisted with Commissioner Dominguez. Come on up.
Detail, attention!
Thank you. This concludes today's ceremony.